Hello, everybody. Today I'm with Adnan from the Raretalks podcast. Just in a slightly new setting, actually, just using his studio, which is good.
What's your first initial thoughts on my studio when you came of it, looking around
It's
aesthetically?
nice. Like it. Modern, comfortable. It's not too big as well.
Yeah,
So that's pretty good.
it's kind of tailored to just be a podcast studio,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm trying to make it a creative space. But I think I might have to get a bigger room, probably.
Yeah, no, it depends how many guests you have, doesn't it? Like, I know a lot of people have spaces like this. Like the other podcasts, like the H3 podcast. And the one with Poet and Chucky in it, and they have something similar. So that's cool. Okay, so basically, I just wanted to speak to you because I've seen a lot of your stuff online, and especially in regards to stuff like relationships in terms of personal and friends and all this, and also a little bit about Islam in general and how that you came to that. For starters, I mean, recently I think you were talking about how, on your last episode, about how when you involve friends and other people in your personal life, it can kind of get dramatic with the sort of, maybe not evil eye, but like...
So basically, if you have what I was trying to say before is because everything I say I've kind of gone through.
Yeah.
So everything that I say on my episodes I've gone through. So I've been through situations where a girl's had a friend, and her friend is just feeding this negativity into her soul. So I'm trying to like salvage my relationship. Things are going good, some things are going bad, but she's always in my missus's ear telling her bad stuff against me. She's never saying the good stuff. So eventually it got to her. So she was just like, you know what? I've been listening to my friend. She told me that, and I'm like, why are you telling me what your friend said? I'm not in a relationship with your friend, so why should she have so much influence on how we discuss things? Then she's like, oh, my friend saw you on live last night or this or that. And I'm like, why is your friend even like watching me so hard? And you said this and you said that. I said, but did you hear me say that? No. So how do you know if it's true or not? Because my friend said it. I said, but your friend could be misinterpreting everything. And I got to a point where I started to understand that my relationship wasn't even mine anymore. I was actually going out with her friend. I was actually going out with her friend. It's so sad.
Yeah. But people try and see things from outside, and that's like that. I made that mistake a lot. Like, as I'm still quite young, so I still continue to make it sometimes. Like, when you tell people stuff you shouldn't do when you're like emotional, and then it just comes back and to be used against you.
That's the worst one. For me personally, I've been hit with that so many times. So that's why I was discussing that, because I thought it's a very good topic that nobody really talks about. Like, can your friends ruin your relationship? Like, literally. Like, can they get into your head? Or worse so, this is even the worstest one. They're disrespecting your partner. So basically, there was a story when I was very, very young. I had a girlfriend. And I think she went out the room to do something. I don't know what she went to do, but her friend was on the phone. Yeah, this is old school. This is like back in the day when you had house phones. It was cool for house phones. So I remember the friend was there, and then me and the friend, I don't ask me why we start arguing, but we started to argue, and then the friend told me to like my mum. So I was like, what? So my girl, so I'm shouting, going crazy, so she's locked me off. So I've called back, and my girl's answered now. So I've said, bro, like, did you hear what your friend said? And she's like, no, what happened? And I said, your friend said this, you have to defend me now. So I'm telling her, you have to defend me to your friend. She's like, did you say that a friend's like effing and blind? I'm saying, see, how she's talking to me. Are you going to let your friend talk to me disrespectfully? I would never let none of my friends do it to you. And then that led me to just break up with her because of that right there.
Yeah, it's like, sometimes it's like when you involve other people, they tend to like meddle with it, and it just makes it so much worse. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Sometimes I've had that before. It's like, I just want to speak to somebody, to them, and then like there's other people that's making it complicated, and it just makes it worse.
Way worse.
And it's just like, just gossip and drama. And that's something I've learned as I've become more into my deen and my religion, is like privacy and the need for that always.
And that's why it's I think some women think that you're hiding them, but what you're really doing is you're saving them from fitna, because you have to remember, yeah, if you're doing something positive, there's always people out there that want to do something negative. Man's got shaitan's real. Some people are actually shaitans, like they're literal shaitans. They don't even know that they're actually shaitans. Yeah. Like I remember one day I was with my friends once, yeah, and I saw my friend turn into a literal shaitan. Everyone knows I don't drink. I've not drunk for years.
Yeah.
But there was there, and he knows I don't drink, so he's like, "Oh, just take a sip today, man, just one day." And I was like, "No, I'm alright." I just said to him, "No, I'm alright." And he's like, "No, just go take a sip." I was like, "No," he's like, "Just take one sip." I was like, "I was a bit like in the shaitan regime, like, brother."
Wow.
And then he moved from me, but in my mind, I was like, "Bro, like, why is he trying to get me to take one sip so bad?" I was like, "You know I don't drink. Imagine I drank that night and I forgot myself home and something happened to me. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you even care about me?" Like,
exactly, your friends should care and they should respect your choices as well. Like, it's a lot of, I've had that before with like people. Once I became Muslim, it's like they didn't take it seriously. Like they were trying to, maybe not on purpose, but they were sort of subtly trying to influence me. Like, "Oh, you should do this," or like if I'm with them, it's like, "Oh, do you want a beer?" It's like, "Oh, no, I'm alright." And like, and then they try and force it on you.
yeah, I don't like that.
And like, especially when I was a new Muslim and I was weak, like I would sometimes, like make mistakes because people were pressurizing.
Yes.
Me. And it's a lot to deal with when you've just become a revert. And
that's the hardest thing. When you just revert, yeah, the hardest thing when you just revert is companionship, because obviously you've known people for years and people are like your close people, so you don't really want to cut people off because you don't think they're generally bad people, but obviously your religion's saying what they're doing ain't correct, so you're like, I'm at a standstill now because like I love you, but I can't be around you all the time. And I think a lot of my friends didn't understand that. I used to do music. I was actually big at music, and then 2010 came, and then I said, you know what, I just need to cut off music because what I'm saying in my rhymes is not how I'm living today. It's not what I want to promote. Does that make sense? Like, it's bad stuff. Like,
especially when you were a different person before.
Yeah, I'm a whole different person now. You know what I'm saying? And even though the streets still know me as someone, in me, in my soul, my mind, my body, everything, just the way I think, I'm changed.
You're a different person.
I'm a whole different person. So it's like I'm lying to the people now because I'm saying that I'm doing this when really what I'm doing is this. So it's like, all right, I have to make these conscious decisions. But all my friends never understood, and they said, "Oh, you're a quitter. You gave up. You left us." And I was just like, "Nah, brother. Like, my path didn't coincide with that." You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the reasons why I even stopped doing music, because of that reason. Because you know what I'm saying? I said, "Right, worst case scenario, if I'm gonna do anything, I'd listen to music, like haram wise, if I was gonna do anything. But for me to make music, and then I'm making music that is influencing youngsters."
Yeah,
which
I'm not gonna lie. I do listen to music, but I wouldn't make it, especially with that kind of context to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't, because for me personally, it made me feel like I was kind of like a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? Because I weren't living these things. Does that make sense? And when I done music, it was more of like, I'm doing this stuff. That's why I'm rapping it. Does it make sense? But I'm not doing this stuff. So what am I doing?
It's fake. Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So I might as well speak about the deen or speak about something that I'm actually passionate about. 100%. And that's where I got into more in the deen.
Islam just changes you completely. I feel like a lot of people have the mentality. No. A lot of people have the mentality towards me like, "Oh, you change" type of thing. But like, change is good.
Of course,
everybody's supposed to change.
Everyone.
Like, if I was people don't realize like how just before Islam, how unhappy I was as a person, bro. Like, I was basically an alcoholic. It was not good, and I had a lot of problems, and like different girls and stuff that I didn't like or really respect, and it's just this complex stuff that like I was feeding into that wasn't me. And then when I came to Islam, obviously it took time to improve myself, but it's just like, it's so freeing. Do you know what I mean?
It's the heart and the soul, and I think a lot of people didn't understand that. Even though when I left music, I went straight to the deen and just started learning Arabic, learning Quran. So it's like, people thought I was mad at one time. I'll be honest, all my family members, all my friends, everyone thought I lost my mind, but I found myself. Like, I found peace. Like, I didn't have a job. I had nothing really at that moment, Not really was going too well for me, I'll be honest. I cut off all the girls I had, everything. And it's like, the peace that I found in Islam I couldn't put a price on it. Like that
100%.
piece, I couldn't put a price on it. And for like a long period of time, I didn't care about nothing else except for that. All that was mattered to me was that. And I was literally really poor at that time as well. Like at that time, I was proper poor. Like I'm talking about, like man's counting pennies to get on the bus. Like man's putting pennies to get. You ever counted pennies before?
Yeah.
I've counted pennies like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You dare 2, 4, 6 just to get on the bus to go to a lesson of Arabic so I can learn Arabic. This is what my life turned into after all, because I've got like some obsessive behavior. That's my like thing. I have obsessive behavior, so anything that I get into, I have to do it fully. I can't get into something and not do it properly. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
It's like my friend pointed it out to me years back, because I went to secondary school with him, and he's like, you know what? One thing I'll say about you is that anything you put your mind to, like you literally go for it. Like anything. Yeah. Like if it's the streets, if it's a girl, if it's maths, like you would try to learn algebra. I was learning algebra once. I don't even care. What's algebra gonna help me?
I'm like that too. I just focus on one thing.
Yes.
And that's like my whole world.
Yes.
And then like people are like, why didn't you do this and that? It's like, no, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
I'm like I've got dyspraxia and dyslexia, so like I have some slightly autistic traits. So I just like I have to like focus on one thing. If there's all this stuff going on, like I know a lot of men can juggle like 10 different jobs and different incomes and like 3 different girls and all this stuff. I can't do it. My brain cannot focus.
That's the same with me. So it's like I've got the same type of I get obsessed with things. So when I got into Islam, I wanted to learn Arabic. I said, I'm going to learn, because it was Ramadan 2010. And I was just like, no, man, I've had enough, man. I've got to learn, man. I've got to learn. Like, you know, when you tell yourself, no matter what, I'm going to learn this. And the first few weeks, it was hard. And I felt like giving up, like 3-4 weeks. But I had some good people around me. I was like, no, man, come up to the lesson. And they was always calling me, oh, are you coming to lesson this week? And I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. And I'd go just for them, but then I'd learn. Then when I'm in the lesson, I'm asking the guy next to me, what, did you understand that? And he's like, yeah. What it means is this, oh, is that it? He's like, yeah. Like, oh, that's easy, man. Yeah. So I started to... And then by like 4 months later, I could start reading Alif, Ba, Ta, Tha, Jim. I got it. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually can read Arabic. So now I'm thinking, I'm the biggest sheikh in the world.
Yeah.
And the man said, you can read it, but can you understand it? I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my. This is another book now. So they said, you have to start this book to learn. I'm like, cool, no, I'll start this book. So there's 20 people in the class at the start. As weeks are going past, everyone's dropping out. So in my mind, I'm like, no, I can't drop out. I've got to stay focused. And that's what the penny counting got into. I got into counting pennies, and then I actually I was signing at a job centre. This is how broke I was. I was signing at a job centre, and they gave me a discount bus pass. I had a discount bus pass. And I remember I only had enough money from one bus there and one bus home.
Okay.
That was the money that I had on my Oyster card. I didn't have, so all through the week, I'd make sure, no matter what, I'd have enough money on my Oyster to take me to thing and take me back home. Take me to the lesson and take me home. And that helped me, that propelled me to like understanding things, and that really made me understand my religion. And that's when I started to get closer and closer and closer. And the more time I spent with people, the more I learned. And then people would guide me to different things. Oh, go to this place, go to that place, learn this, learn that. And I had a great teacher, and I remember what he said to me: I'm teaching you so that one day you can teach others. I never forget the words that he said to me, because it stayed with me for like over 10 years now. He said to me, I'm teaching you only that you can teach others. And then like 3 years later, everyone wanted to learn Arabic, innit? Like I'm meeting new people and they're like, oh, I want to learn Arabic. I'm like, oh, no problem, I'll teach you lot. So I was running classes and I was teaching everyone Alif, Ba, Ta, Tha, Jim, Ha, Kha. I was teaching everyone that. And then
I need to learn it properly as well, to be fair.
Yeah, it really changed my life. That was the changing point in my life. And I remember when I came to my mum's house, I don't think my mum thought I was even serious. My family thought I was just going through like, little stages.
I think my family are the same in a way. It's like, they've slowly got used to it now.
But when you first change, they just think, he's going through a little phase, he'll be back.
People think you're crazy.
That's what's crazy. People, and the thing is, if you saw the way I was living, like, I was proper like humble with it. In a sense, I didn't have a lot, but I just made everything go by. And I started to meet new people and stuff like that, and that's what helped me a lot, if I'm honest.
That's a big part of Iman though, accepting the cards you've been dealt, just sort of patiently.
Yeah,
working your way through it.
Yeah, that's it. I was literally so patient with the poverty I was going through at that time. I was broke, man. I was broke. Looking back at it now, because I got dough now, I'm like, bro, I couldn't go back to that. Bro, that was mad. Like,
yeah, it's crazy, especially in London. I can't imagine being like super poor in London. Like I've struggled in Bournemouth, but that's just London because stuff costs so much more. It's just on another level.
It's crazy, man. So I was going through all of that, and then Islam helped me with all of that, man. And I met some incredible people, man. Some seriously genuine people, and that's one thing that I realized that Islam, Allah chooses the ones that He believes is the best in their hearts. Because I met some incredible people like on my journeys, like everywhere I've gone, all over the world. I mean, I've gone all over the world. I've traveled the whole world as a Muslim, so I've traveled the world as Adnan, not as whatever anyone thinks they know me. I've traveled the world as Adnan. So when I've gone to a place, they're like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Adnan." They're like, "Oh, Assalamu alaikum, bro." I'm like, "Alaikum salam." And then before you know it, the person speaking to me in Arabic, I'm speaking back to them in Arabic. They're like, "Oh, how did you learn Arabic?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I learned Arabic here." And then I'm like, "Yeah, can you take me here? Can you take me?" Like, it's actually mind blowing for other people to see someone that came from what we came from, and then he can speak Arabic, and he's actually really good at it. He's actually like a teacher and stuff. So traveling the world as like a Muslim, it opened my eyes to like a different life that I never knew.
It's incredible. Yeah, I need to travel. I need to go to a Muslim country, to be honest, because England can be jarring.
Yeah, you need. If you go to a Muslim country, your life will change.
Yeah, I need to find like a cheap deal, get next year or something.
Even when I've gone places like Denmark, because I went Denmark a few times. I still love going Denmark. Only it's very expensive there, but in Denmark, like for example, like I'll be like, "Where's the mosque?" Like, it's like so many mosques. Then I'll be in there and I'll just start talking to people, and then before you know it, I've made a new friend. Like I'm one of the people.
Yeah.
Send me to any country and I'm making friends. That's just the type of person.
That's good. Yeah, I'm a bit shy. I'm not so good at that. So like sometimes when I'm in the mosque and some random person's like just chatting to me, I find it a bit like overwhelming, to be honest.
No, I embrace it, man. I embrace it because there's so many things. When I'm on holiday, there's so many things that I can learn. Because other people would take, like, I've been in countries before, you're going to think this is crazy, but like, I was in like some Muslim countries and man's been like, "Yeah, come to my house to eat." Like, I've just prayed. They still start speaking to me. They've learned who I am. They couldn't say, "Child, come eat food with us."
Muslims are so open.
I'm like, what?
Stuff like that.
The man's took me to the restaurant and I'm actually hungry. I'm not even going to sit here in front and act like, "Yeah, I had bare money." Guy took me to the restaurant and said, "Order what you want." Like, I'm like, I don't even know you like that. So, and that's why I said I've met some incredible people like on my journeys, like poor people, rich people, all sorts. But the only thing that we all have in common is la ilaha illallah, like Muslims.
Alhamdulillah, yeah, amazing. It's the openness of Muslims is part of what attracted me to it, to be honest. Like, just because I used to work with a lot of Muslims, and just their energy, I was like, there's something to that. Do you know what I mean? Like it inspires you. And then I would learn more about it, especially some particular friends in particular really had a positive influence on me. And like, when I say that though, it's like other white people. They've like indoctrinated you. I was like, no, nobody ever, that's the beauty of Islam. Nobody ever has like forced me or tried to influence me in that way. In fact, Muslims are reserved in that way in a lot of senses, which is part of what drew me to Islam. They don't try and push their opinions.
But what was the thing that actually said, "You know what, I'm gonna become Muslim now"? What was that point? Because there's always like one incident that makes you say, "You know, I need to say my shahada."
Well, like I said, I had some friends I worked with, and just their energy was like just amazing. Like the piety and like how they hold themselves. There's just something about it. Like it's like a glow. I can't really describe it to you. And I was like, okay, I'd like to read the Quran. So I read the Quran. And then like halfway through, I just had this overwhelming sort of feeling that like this is the truth. You know what I mean?
100% know what you mean. You can't read that book with an open mind and not look at it like it's not the truth. I'm talking about open mind, not like reading it to look at mistakes or, "Oh, I don't like this, I don't like that." If you read it like with open heart, it's like
no bias.
No bias. You just read it just to learn, like a genuine. I want to learn about Islam. You read the Quran with that intention. You'll find things that will make you cry, make you smile, you'll go through so much emotions reading that book. But you'll get to the emotion where you say, "No, this is the truth. This, I can't even deny this." You know what I'm saying? Because I remember I took my shahada when I was 9, 10 years old, because of my uncle, But then I wasn't really practicing growing up. But then stuff happened to me. I ended up in prison, and then I got the Quran and I started reading it, and that was the first time that I've actually said, "Wow!" Like, man said I was a Muslim, but this is what Islam is. Like, I actually started to. All the stories, everything in it just made sense. I can't explain it to nobody, but everything made sense. Nothing was like, oh, this sounds too crazy, or this. Like, everything just made
fits.
Yeah, it didn't, and it kind of combined with what my parents were on already. So it's like it wasn't something just coming out of nowhere, and it's got some, you know what I'm saying, different prophet name. You know, everything was like. So I was just like, wait a second. So this is Abraham, and he's called Ibrahim. This is Jesus, but his name's Isa. So I was like, that kind of makes sense though, because back in the day, they wouldn't really have the name like this, innit? Because it's kind of a new name, innit? Like, you know, they must have had some. So I was proper like contemplating, like, this is actually the truth. And then everything it's pushing you to, if you really look at it, it's goodness. There's nothing in there telling you to do bad. No,
definitely not. That's the thing. People don't bother to read it, and and a lot of people that do read it have a negative. Like, if you come in it like, oh, I'm a Christian, or I'm an atheist, and I'm not going to change my mind, and this is everything. You're not going to get a lot out of it, because you have like a bias. A bias, and you have, like, I don't know, something wrapped around your heart that is not opening to you to the message. Like, even if you don't want to become Muslim, even if you can't accept it, it should still have a drastic effect on you. 100%. I know a guy that's not even Muslim, but he said that he was going through depression. And he started reading the Quran a page a day, and it started to make his anxiety go down. I looked at him, and I said, I was shocked when he said it. He hit me straight out of the blue. Like, guy's not even Muslim, and he said, I read a page 100%. Of the Quran every day, and it makes my anxiety. I said, how? I had mad anxiety and mental health problems before Islam. It's not completely gone, obviously, but like it's lifted such a weight off my shoulders, man. All of us, and I think. Once people can understand that, I think once you understand, even my mum, it's crazy because all these years of me being Muslim, my mum proper respects Islam. So like, say someone's trying to like disrespect Islam, like she'll even, like, people at work that are Muslims, she'll get onto them and be like, you're Muslim, she'll give them what I've given her. Does it make sense? Yeah. So me and my mum have funny talks, but I've realised that after all these years of being Muslim and practicing, I didn't realise that it was actually having an effect on my mum. Without her even saying it. Because when I hear her talk to other people, I'm like, how did you know that, Mum? What? But I know it, but how do you know it? So she knows little things about Islam, and it changes you completely. Yeah. Like, the thing is with that as well, like, the thing is, like, people still see you as the person you used to be. Like, a lot of family, even other Muslims that I knew before, people I used to work with and people I just knew growing up, they still see you as that person, and it's hard for them to see you as a new. Like, I'm a completely different person now. Last year, especially before I moved out of, I had to move back to my hometown because of COVID, and it was stressful, and I was unemployed for ages, and it wasn't good. But at the same time, it was good because I invested so much more into Islam, and like, it's changed me so much. Is there Muslims up in Bournemouth? There is. But like, I wasn't really around them, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, there's like one street where there's a lot of Muslims, and I didn't really meet anyone that I really vibed with, you know. So that's part of the reason I'm back here, because I relate to the London culture, even though I'm not from here. I've lived here for a lot of time on and off, and I grew up on like the music and the culture and stuff, and like being a working class person, it's more relatable to me, even though I'm not from here. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it makes sense. Because like in Bournemouth, like, I feel like working class people are more of like a minority in Bournemouth, so it's basically just sort of like middle class people that have moved down to like live by the beach and stuff. It's a bit weird. Like, it's like the estates where people live in Bournemouth. It's a bit like in London, it's different because everybody's mixed. But it's a bit like in France, where all the estates are outside the periphery of the town. And it's like not like deliberate segregation, but it's like, it feels like separate. Do you know what I mean? A lot of areas outside of London feel like that for others. But when they come London, they feel like it's more united. Yeah. Like it's more people. London's combined. Less divided, I think. Especially when you consider like, you know, like there's a lot of negative news about London in terms of crime and stuff and different stuff in communities, but like in London, different communities get on better than they do anywhere, man.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You could be mixing with
that's why I like it here.
Yeah, a Colombian today, tomorrow a Brazilian, tomorrow a like it's just so much ethnicity down there.
And that's Islam as well.
So. Yes, and that's what that's what even attracted me more. So like, I'm Jamaican, yeah. So I went to the Brixton Mosque, and the imam was Jamaican. So I was like, what? I was like, no way. Then I went downstairs to see all these older uncles.
Yeah.
And they're all Muslim and they're all Jamaican. So I'm like,
there's a lot of Jamaican reverts.
Yeah, but remember, I didn't know this. So if I knew this, I'd have gone to my family and said, look, Dad, there's bare Jamaican Muslims. Look, Mum, bare Jamaican Muslims. But then my family went to Jamaica, I think like 2-3 years ago, and they saw the big mosque out there where we live. And it's funny, look, this is funny things I'll say to you. My dad said, if my son was here, he'd be the imam of the mosque. I said, what? I said to my mum, what? Dad said that. I had to question him. I'm like, Dad said that. No way Dad said that. But it's like I said to you, you don't realize the impact you're having on others by just practicing Islam. Like, you don't realize 100%. It. Like, even people in my area that I grew up with, they saw me, like, they saw a change in me. Like, they'll see me and I'd be like in my phobe and they'll be like, where you going? I'm going to the mosque. They're like, what are you doing tomorrow, man? I'm like, just probably my family or something. Like, they're just talking to me and they're thinking raw. Like, they're not thinking I'm weird. They're thinking raw. Like, Islam's had a really positive effect on you. And I think that's what the main thing that I usually say to people, that the most important thing that you can do for anyone is not tell them about Islam, but show them by your actions. Yeah. And that's what probably attracted you.
That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what also attracts me. I mean, you have to live Islam, and you have to show people. Like, I would never try and like, I forgot the word, like proselytize to like family in that way. Like, because I know that if I do that, that'll just alienate people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like being the pushy religious person. You know what I mean? That's what's good about most Muslims. Obviously, there are some Muslims that are a bit like that, but that's a tiny minority. Do you know what I mean? And I showed, like, you have to show that Islam has helped you, and then other people might like want to consider, like, oh, what's that about? Yeah. It's the same with me. It's like, when I was speaking, I was not religious at all. 5 years ago, or like 3 years ago actually, because I converted about 2 years ago, if you would have told me that I would now be a Muslim,
you wouldn't believe it.
And I'd be like living a certain way and cutting these things out of my life and like mostly hanging around with Muslims and like doing this, I would have told you your mentor. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I actually would have laughed in your face.
Yeah, it's the same, man. And that's the beauty of Islam. When Allah chooses someone, it could be anyone. Like, there's 100%. No discrimination in Islam. Like, anyone can become a Muslim, and Islam accepts you. Doesn't really what I found out, like, just traveling the world. Like, I went all over the world. Yeah, like, seeing the humbleness of the people, and
the diversity is incredible. Like, it's that's whenever I meet a Muslim who's like, it's not super common really, but whenever I meet a Muslim who's like, I only want to be with my culture and we should all just like only marry our culture and all this traditional sort of stuff, I was like, I'm trying to respect you and your culture, but that's not Islam.
Nothing to do with Islam. Islam doesn't say that we don't marry based on colour or culture we only marry on the basis of piety. Yeah. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, he says in a hadith, he said, there's 4 things that a person gets married for. Yeah. Yeah. Their beauty, their lineage, or I think their wealth, or their piety. Marry for piety and you'll be successful. 100%. So I think a lot of parents are kind of old school, but the new generation, we're changing that ethos. We're changing that. We're not, from what I've seen anyway, everyone's multicultural. Like, you know what I'm saying? You'll see an Asian with Jamaican, you'll see a white person with a Colombian. Like, Islam's the only religion that I actually see like that, and there's nothing wrong. A Somali woman with a white brother, like, it's opened. Does it make sense? There's no like restriction. I seen Indian men with small. I'm like, raw. Like
100%.
this is nice. And I'm saying they got beautiful kids. They're all Muslims. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not a thing I would think of. If I was to approach a sister, it would be like just based off her and the fact that she's a lit person. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, it's because of the way you look. Obviously, that I'm not gonna lie. As a man, that does come into a factor. You know, obviously, you have to find somebody attractive, of course. But like, if I was to like go to somebody, it's because I generally think like they're great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think you see what you just said. That's the most important thing, that you go for someone that you think's lit. Don't go for someone that, for instance, like beauty. I always tell people this. Yeah, beauty should never be the deciding factor in choosing a wife. Never. Let me tell you why. Because beauty fades. See, some people, I believe that beauty is actually in how someone's heart is towards you. It's not in their act. It's not in how they look. Because aesthetically, someone could be so beautiful, but you see when they start talking, you're like,
like
just,
I know a lot of people like that. Do you know?
She's so pretty, but she's so rude. Like, she has no manners. She doesn't have any regard for you. She doesn't care about you. She doesn't check for you. But she's beautiful. She's sexy. At the start, you will tolerate it because you have a goal. Yeah. But after a while, after a year or something, you will get so upset. And the woman that you didn't think is that beautiful. That's when
I'll like. Sorry to interrupt. That's when I'll like friend zone somebody. If you use that dynamic, do you know what I mean? It's like friend zone. Like when like, okay, you're cool, but like there's just something about you that is just like bougie.
Yeah. I can't do it. I literally can't do it. And I not warn, but I advise brothers that don't let beauty be the best factor, because if you're marrying a woman, she's gonna probably have your kids.
Of course.
And then your kids need education.
Yes.
And they need the right like pushing in the right direction. If you just marry a woman for beauty, even though she might even be Muslim, she 100%. Might just want to teach the kid how to do makeup. And your son how to drive cars and, I don't know, do it, wear nice clothes. I want
someone who's on their religion. Like, they don't have to be perfect, because nobody's perfect.
No one's perfect.
But I want somebody to have knowledge and like just the Islamic character. Do you know what I mean? Like, whenever I speak to a woman in that regard, like, obviously, like I said, you know, you got to have some level of attraction to them.
Yeah, of course.
But that's never the main thing. Do you know what I mean?
Never let it be. Never let it be. Never let a woman's beauty overcloud your judgment. Because when you wake up in the morning and the makeup and everything's gone, I'm telling you, the most beautifulest woman in the world looks ugly to a man after 3-4 months. It's natural. Because when you see someone every day, they don't look that pretty to you anymore. It's natural for all of us. The first time you see a woman and she's the beautifulest woman, you think, oh my gosh, she's the most beautifulest woman in the world. Spend 6 months with her, and I promise you, you'll start seeing flaws in her that you never saw at the beginning. You'll be like teeth's crooked, or you'll see things
that's the human mind.
And that's why I said that if she's got great like character, and I always talk about character when it comes to women, because character is the most important thing about a woman. Not she's the most knowledgeable, she knows 20 books, 100%. But she might know 20 books but be an evil person using the books against you. Well, in the Quran it says this, and you're just like, bro, you're using the religion as a weapon instead of like like a help me, like, you know what I'm saying? But she might have really good manners. I mean, like, she smiles a lot, she respects you, she's very honourable, she's very soft spoken, she's very wifely, she wants to always commend you, she's just a nice person, she's very kind, very good hearted, very generous. I love things like that. You can't buy that, man.
Yeah, exactly.
No amount of people you can buy that.
And that's just someone you can spend a lifetime with. When he does it, there's a bubbly energy.
And she's your friend as well. Exactly. And she's a friend. Because the most important thing, I think, when you're getting with someone is finding a friend. You want someone that is, you can be on the motorway 6 hours driving and having a conversation with.
Yeah.
Who wants to have someone in the motorway having an argument with?
Somebody's irritating, yeah.
You're going to be like, this is the worst journey ever. Your head's going to be hurting. You're going to be like, I can't wait to get out of this car. You probably want to jump out the car on the motorway. I'm telling you.
That's true.
I don't want a relationship like that person.
That's how I think, like, with previous relationships before I was Muslim, like, obviously it was bad that I was doing stuff like that. But it's like, when you think about it, I'm glad that I went through that, because it made me realise how incompatible I was with those people. Mm. Like, and yeah, I know it hurt, and people got upset, and I got upset, and they got upset, but ultimately it was worth it.
100%. And that's why now I say to you, if you're gonna find someone that's your general friend, someone that you can vibe with. Like, they don't have to be perfect, you know. I've always told you, you don't need this. If you're not a super righteous person, you don't need a super righteous wife. Get someone that's on your level, on your wave, that you can vibe with. Does that make sense? Like, I can't accept like a woman that smokes. That's something that really like drives me up the wall. So if I'm with a woman, I might say I'll be with you, but we have to have the intention that you're gonna stop smoking. That makes sense. But then, am I changing you now? Because if you change someone, they're always gonna revert back to what they originally 100%. Know. It's human. It's like an animal. You could take a lion out of the jungle, but I don't think that lion's gonna be chilling in the circus all day. That lion might one day say, "I want to bite your head off." It might say that. Depending.
As soon as I see red flags in somebody, I'm done.
Red flags is
even just in friendships, like just
you got to check them things.
Distance yourself from them.
Yeah, you've got
occasionally check in to check that they're still alive.
that distance is needed.
Yeah,
for the betterment of your health, mental health. It's nothing to do with them. I say it to some people sometimes. It's nothing to do with you. I just know that having you around me is mentally not good for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
I've had to do that loads of times.
Yeah, you've got it, man.
You've got it. Because if somebody's constantly on your mind, that's so damaging to you.
Of course.
Like, you see their flipping Instagram stories, you're around them all the time. It's not good.
No. And that's why I even say to people, I think that you shouldn't follow your partner on all social medias.
I saw that, yeah.
Because I think that really, when it comes sometimes, if she wants to post something about something that she's feeling, I might be like, wow, what's going on in my relationship? Why is she posting? But she might not even mean nothing. Yeah. But because I'm interpreting everything with a negative connotance because of what we're going through.
Exactly.
And she might do the same. Imagine, all right, she's not following my Instagram, but she goes to my TikTok. But she hears me talking to TikTok. Wow, you see what I'm saying? Then
she'll think that's about her.
Yeah.
It's like a past experience.
It's a past experience. It's not even about you.
Yeah, because if you're married to somebody, you're there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why would you go and moan about it on social media?
Thank you. So it's like, some people, what they do is they follow all your social medias to build an image, what they think in their mind, but they know you. All they have to do is just come to you and talk. And that's why I think it's very dangerous. And I think it's not good for your mental health to follow everyone on every single social media. Yeah. I think if my missus had Twitter or that, I just let her do her thing. I don't even care. Whatever she wants to post. Enjoy your life, your privacy, your privacy. I don't need to know. If you're writing even stuff against me, I don't even care because I'm not following you. The problem is you follow someone on everything, and that person they start to be careful of what they post. Yeah, because they're like, oh, because you're following me, I don't want to post this anymore or that anymore. You're making the person feel uncomfortable, making them feel comfortable. I don't think
you've got to be open with people, and like the distance is healthy.
It's so healthy, and distance is not just we're in the house and you're in the bedroom and living room. Distance is social media.
Of course,
like,
that's the worst.
You're actually stalking
yeah, that's weird.
I'm scared to post because I'm thinking that you're going to take things personal. Yeah. So I'm like in my room, scared to post. You know, like, that's when the relationship is over.
You shouldn't live in fear of your wife or partner. That's
see, that's problems. That's problems. So
that suggests that's not the right person. Do you know what I mean? You're 100%. Scared to post like a funny joke
because the person's not going to understand it, and you're thinking they're going to misinterpret it. So you're scared to even speak your mind now.
I've got a mad sense of humor as well. Like I like, even though I'm Muslim and I try my best to be pious and stuff, like sometimes I will say something that's a bit rude because I find it funny.
It's not. We're all humans, brother. Just remember, we're all humans. Remember the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says, every son of Adam is a sinner, and the best of sinners are those who repent. None of us are perfect. There's not one man that you don't let all these dawah celebrities, all these people that claim to be, don't let them fool you. They fall into sins. It's just that some people are better at hiding it than others.
100%.
That's all it is. No one's better than anyone.
Everyone's got sins.
Don't ever let someone think they're better, because see, the moment that you even think that you're better than someone, that's a sin. That's one of the major sins in itself, because you think that you're better than someone. You don't know what the person, how close they are with Allah. You don't know. That person could hold their hands up, go like this, and Allah accept you straight away. You could hold your hands up and you're like never getting accepted. Allah chooses who He wants. So don't ever think, because people look down on the prophets. Look how much prophets was looked down on. But they were amazing people. Their people all laughed at them. Noah was building an ark, in the desert. People laughed at him. They were coming out there to mock him. Like, look at this idiot. Bro, he was the last laugh wasn't even with him, because he actually felt sorry for them when he saw the flood, drowning everyone, he actually felt bad for them. He wasn't even like, because there's some people, when they see you go through bad stuff, they become happy.
Yeah, I've seen that. You talk about that before.
Like, I don't understand how.
That's evil, man.
That's evil,
I don't
man.
want people like that in my life.
Nah, man. I had someone like that yesterday. Like, I was going through a bad day yesterday, and I phoned someone, and I was talking to them, and they was like, haha. And like, it happened to you. Got that. And I was just like, I just looked the person off. Like, I was like, bro, like, you really stood there and just, like, I'm going through it. I'm telling you, I'm going through it. And you're laughing at me, saying, good, this is because of this, that. I'm like, why are you bringing it up? And I'm going through my, I would never kick someone when they're down. I would never do it.
They're here for your losses, but they're not here for your winnings.
Yeah.
It's mental. Like, I've had people, like, actually, that's another thing that's another topic we can come into, actually, in terms of, like, male mental health, when oftentimes I feel I've had to draw back from certain women in my life in terms of, like, friends and whatever, even some relatives, which is, I'm sad to say, it's like they treat men like we have no emotions.
Yeah.
I've literally known women who, like, were surprised or, like, laughed about, like, men having emotions. Like, I didn't even know men had emotions. I've actually heard women say that. That's crazy. We're human beings, bro. And
the scariest thing about that is that if you think that people don't have emotions, then you don't understand the human biology and the makeup of a human. A human, he's made to feel stuff. Just like when you get pricked, you feel it on your skin. The same way you go through that is the same way you go through emotions mentally. I think men's mental health is never ever spoken about. And because there's more women on the planet than men, there's actually more women. And more women on social media than men that will express their feelings. So a woman goes through stuff. I was going through my TikTok the other day, and this is like lots of women crying. There's lots of women crying. Yeah, there's a lot. But you rarely find a lot of men crying.
I see that all the time.
But we're going through the same struggles.
I see, like, a woman breaking down, and everybody's like, it's okay, everything's going to be okay, I'm here for you. If a man posts something like that, you read the comments.
Other men
taking the piss constantly.
Other men won't even value another man crying. They think that we're meant to be some superheroes, feel no emotion and never cry. The thing is, I tell people this and I say this openly, crying is a good thing. Having a good old cry, 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour, however you do it.
It is helpful.
It is so healthy for your soul.
I don't do it enough, I feel. Because, it's going back to mental health, so, like, you've sort of been repressed by society. So sometimes you struggle to let things go. So, like, I'm more, with me, like, I won't, like, cry or be sad. I'll just be, like, angry. Which is a toxic thing to have inside you. It's anger.
It's funny you say that because I'm similar. Some people become like I was saying this last night. Some people come suicidal. I come homicidal when I'm going through depression or
I have
sadness.
both. I've had both. It's a crazy thing to be experiencing, man.
Yeah.
And when you express it as well, like, going back to the people not understanding men's mental health, it's like, I've said to, like, female friends and relatives before, like, I've been literally, like, on, like, death's door, like, really bad, and they've just sort of laughed it off and been like, that's not the kind of people I want around me.
No. And the thing is, I don't think they do it on purpose. You have to understand something. Yeah. I've kind of realised that most women are raised to not care about men, like, our emotions. They care about us, as in, like, what we can provide for them, what we can give to them, but they don't actually care about us mentally. If you really have a conversation with a woman and sit down and listen to her, I promise you start to tell her how you feel. Halfway through the conversation, or an hour, 2 hours, however long you're on that phone for, she'll start to mention her emotions. But I'm talking about me. Exactly. I'm going through something right now. It's me. I'm like, I'm depressed. I'm feeling it. Can you just, like, this?
It's not about you.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, when you do it for a woman, I promise you will never do that. You will sit there for 2 hours listening to her pain and comforting her, trying to give her the best advice, and you'll never mention, you could have just got run over and your leg is in a cast and you're in the hospital and you'll be sitting there telling her everything is going to be all right. She wouldn't even pay attention to your leg in the car. She'd be like, you'll get better soon. Like, don't worry. Yeah. Also, how you feeling? After 2 hours of talking about herself, also, how you feeling? I'm not really feeling too good. You'll be good. So look, what I'm saying is, you see how I feel right now? You're like, what?
I've had that before.
Total disregard for our emotions.
I've been like, I've consoled women I know over stuff, like, family problems or whatever, or like illness or, you know, breakups for weeks, bruv. And then like a couple months later, I have a problem, I bring it up. They don't even want to talk about it.
No.
And it's just like, that's why in some ways, you know, I've have to distance myself from a lot of female friends in that regard, because it's just like, it becomes too complicated. It doesn't feel like they're really hearing me, and they just see me as a man and not as just like, oh, that guy I know, he's cool. Do you know what I mean? They don't see you as a human being. They see you as like a bloke. And like, in some ways I don't blame them, because a lot of women have been traumatized by men. There's men behave horribly to a lot of the people I know. Some of my closest female sort of friends treated terribly, but at the same time, that's not my fault.
Facts, big facts. And that's why most of the videos that I do is about topics like this. So about men's mental health, about women not caring about men. And the funny thing is,
a lot of hate.
I get a lot of hate. Women actually, like, I'll say women don't listen. They just want to be heard. I remember this video. This video was like, and it's like, I'll say things like this, but I actually mean what I say, because I'll look in the comments and women be like, men don't listen. I'm like, but it's not about men at this moment. See, that's the whole point of what I was trying to say. I'm saying to you, you don't listen, you only want to be heard. Instead of you actually taking on what I'm saying and saying, you have a valid point. If you feel like that, then that's 100%. Some women, I'm willing to listen to what you got. None of that, it's just men don't listen. Yeah. It's like, why the defense part? Because they're raised, and this is real what I'm saying to you, they're raised to not actually care about us.
No, I agree. I definitely see your point. I've had loads of times. Like, I remember one time, like, there's a woman, I'm not going to go too much into it because it's private, but she told me that she was into me in that way, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't see you in that way. And then she just started like cussing me out. And it's just like, you're talking about men not being able to handle rejection, and you're literally telling me that I'm terrible and all men are evil because I just said no. That's crazy. And you see that's something that's, women, it's so like, women always like video men, they're rejecting or something. But do you know how much times men have rejected women and they've taken it hard? I couldn't give you a number on how many girls I know that I've rejected personally, and I said, nah, it's not for me. What do you mean? I'm like, nah, just, and then it just starts to get abusive after a while. Like, it's proper abusive. And I'm like, am I really suffering abuse, right? Because sometimes I get shocked. I'm like, am I suffering from abuse? There's no need for that. Like, I might be, like, if that happens to me, like, on the other side, I might be, obviously it's irritating and it's upsetting when you're rejected, but, like, I don't attack the person. No, I'm good at rejection. I don't blame them. That's mental. No. One thing I'm good at is taking rejection. You know why? Because I grew up in an era where you kind of had to get rejected. It's like there was no social media. You weren't social media. No, so it's like, that's a good thing. Yeah, you had to talk to a girl. I had to walk up to you and say, "Hi, how are you?" So some girls just look at you and be like, pfft, and I'm like, "Okay, no problem." Nice. We're on our phones now, man. Yeah, so that's the problem with my generation. Like, I'm a bit younger. I'm 25, and people younger even worse. Like, people can't even communicate outside of social media. If I go up to a girl I know and like, oh, are you interested in like chatting in that way? It's like, but like if some random bloke she's never met DMs her, it's suddenly less weird, which is mental. It's mental. And I remember there was a time when every person I met, you say, have you got Snapchat? Have you got Snapchat? I never had Snapchat. I don't have Snapchat. So I was like, why is everyone telling me to add them on Snap? What's so good about Snap? I'm confused. I'm so confused. I'm like, it's like I'm an old man in some young world. I'm like, why do I need Snapchat? Snapchat's for children. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I was like, bro, I don't want Snapchat. They're like, yeah, get Snapchat and we can talk. I'm like, I'm actually on Snapchat. I'm on Snapchat trying to download it just so I can have a conversation. But then I realized, wait a second, this is kind of weird, bro. Why you forced me to do it? Be on Snapchat. Why can't we just talk on the phone or in person or on text? Because they're not used to it. They're so used to this Snapchat and this. So synthetic. But yeah, because with Snapchat, I think conversations delete straight away. So people want no evidence, no trace, no trail of what they were saying. I'm like, bro, this is. I'm not on that. That's crazy. I don't care if there's evidence. I'll say exactly what I think. It's crazy. I said what? Because I'm acting so naive to some of these things here, but I'm in my own little world more times. So. These things are not really like things that I pay attention to. I don't pay attention to a lot of things, I'll be honest. Yeah. It might seem like I do, but I don't. Like, the things that I pay attention to is the things that are pertinent to my life, but I don't pay attention to everything. Sometimes I'm so naive to certain things. Like, people are like, did you know this is happening?
I'm like,
always
no.
say that.
Like, I remember I walked out in the third lockdown. I was out every day. Everyone's like, oh, what? You know, we're in lockdown. I'm like, are we?
To be outside.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have a clue. I was outside every day with all my friends. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't watch the news. I heard people saying things to me, but I was so disconnected. I was just so focused on my own little life, my own little world. I just knew that I'm furloughed right now. That's all I know. I'm getting paid to not work. That's all I did know. So, in general, like,
what else are you gonna do?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's like I don't want Snapchat anyway.
Yeah, I don't have that stuff, and that's the one thing.
Just in Snapchat, I'm like, no, I'm a grown ass man. Why would I use Snapchat?
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous.
If you want to speak to me, text me, phone me. We'll meet for coffee. I don't need to talk to you.
People can't communicate through them access. You text someone on iMessage, you might not respond for a few days, and it's generally that. It's not even that they're trying to air you. It's because they're on other social media speaking. They got like 10 guys on Snapchat, 3 guys on Instagram, 1 guy on Telegram, another guy on some other social media at Plenty Fish. I'm telling you, women they're swarming, and it's funny because women will be like, I want a faithful man. Like,
but you're meeting like little boys on the internet,
But you're on like 20 social medias talking to 100 men. Like, make it make sense.
Why
to
don't
me,
you just
please.
focus on 1 or 2 max?
She's not even going to focus on 2. She's focusing on... Because remember, men are hungry, innit? So...
Yeah, men are animals.
Men are hungry. Men are hungry. And in this day and age, a man will sleep with anything. It doesn't even matter. TikTok showed me the world, and I never believed it, but I've seen the world now. So people will sleep with anything. So if you've got a woman, she's probably got like 4 to 5 men on her. Yes. So she'll be in a relationship with 1 man, but have 4 potential suitors in her DMs.
Yes.
That maybe she's not entertaining a lot, but she knows that if I break up with you, I can go to these 5 men already. But I always say to people this, never lose a vibe that you can't live without for a vibe that you can.
Yes.
Don't do that. It doesn't make no sense. You regret it in years to come. You regret it in years to come. You know what I'm saying? I know people that have left certain people and I've never seen them the same since they left that woman or person, because that person was their suit. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Like the way
it was written, but they fucked it up.
Yeah. Or like people got in between, or there's so many other factors towards relationships.
I'm patient. I don't really DM women ever. If you were to check my phone, it's dry as hell. It's just like mates and family.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's good though, because I'll be honest with you, if you serious about someone, like proper serious, this is my advice to anyone out there: just cut off all the women and focus on the 1 woman, and I promise you that'll be your woman. Just 100%. Cut off all the women, all of them. Just cut. If they block them, and just focus on 1, and then you will see that one was the one for you. If you do that, and then that one's still not the one for you, she wasn't the one.
If you focus on 1 and she's not the one, then it will be apparent.
But if you have like 3, 4, what happens is your focus is not fully there. So what happens is you're not giving her your full, so you can't receive her full. Because a woman, when you give her everything, she gives you back twice as much. That's women in general. If you put your all into a woman, everything, your money, your time, your effort, she's gonna give you more. Does it make sense? But if you give her half, she will give you less than half. But you'll think that it's a lot. Does it make sense? I've seen it many times. So you've got to be like proper wary of that. Devote all your energy to 1 woman.
100%.
And then you'll see, you'll start advancing in life. Everything will start going well for you. I think the worst times in my life is when I'm so distracted by women. Like there's too much women in my life. So my money's all over the place and my mind is all over the place.
Yeah, you're confused.
I'm confused, bro. And then by the time I click onto what I'm doing, trying to get rid of everyone now, but I don't even know what reasons to use. Like, how do I get rid of this girl? How do I get rid of that girl? I remember one time when I was younger, and this is a little joke here. This is dark humor. I say mad things. I told a girl that I died, and I came back to life. I said I can't be with you anymore because when I died, I saw the light, and the light said, "I can't be with you anymore." She's like, "For real?" I said, "Yeah." They got me, man.
Experience. And she's probably still out there now. But you had this like mad life experience.
Hey, she's watching this. Don't judge me, man. I was young. I was young. I couldn't believe she believed me though. She said, you really died? I said, yeah, I went to sleep and never woke up. I was in a coma. She's like, for 3 days. I said, yeah, for 3 days. This is before social media, where you post something.
You could easily lie about stuff like that.
Social media now catches
now
people
everyone would know.
Yeah, because everyone will be on your social media, checking your social media. Let me see if there's any posts or anything.
If I call in sick from work, and somebody can take a picture of me walking down Oxford Street, and it's like,
that's the worst when someone sees you on Instagram and you're like, just eating my pizza right now, and then they're like, boss, look, and you're like, oh.
It's like when somebody somebody invites you to something and then you forget and then you post like,
the person's
you
upset
somewhere else. It's mad.
That's happened bare times to me. Someone said to me, "Oh, you're gonna come here?" And then I'm on social media doing something, and they're like, "Wait a second, didn't you say?" I didn't want to come. So, but the most important thing when you're looking for like a potential suitor, if anything, is to always, if you are serious about a person, put all of your energy into that one person. If that person is not right for you, then it just won't work. But if that person is right for you, it will work. And you'll be happy that you cut off everything else. Trust 100%. Me, you will not even regret it.
And I feel like when a big problem arises, you need to like just leave it as well.
Yeah, of course.
Like, even if it's just a life problem, even if it's just like there's no beef, but like, you don't think you're earning enough money right now to get married, then you just say, you know what, I'll leave you to it. If you meet someone else, cool. Do you know what I mean? I've had that conversation before recently, because you just have to put your energy. You have to respect the other person as well, because they're trying to get on with their life. Yeah. You can't be on their socials or like whatever. Like,
it's about
if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
100%.
Like
100%.
You just have to focus on yourself as much as possible.
I think the most important thing that many people lose is actually focusing on themselves.
Yeah, I've done that so many times.
You lose yourself trying to please everyone else, but then when you find yourself, you're actually lost. And that's why for me, Islam has always kept me grounded. Anytime that I felt like I was slipping into like a sadness or a sad place, so Islam would give me a little routine. Yeah, just get up and pray. Go get up and make wudu. Get up and or say these adhkar or say this dua or read some Quran and it always kept me grounded. For me personally, Islam was the thing that kept the savage in me. If I'm honest with you, it kept the savage in me because man has a savage way. So without Islam, I was telling someone this yesterday. Without Islam, I would be a savage because of the way I think. Does it make sense? Islam kind of balances me. People think that I'm raw online or whatever. Yeah. I'm 50% of what I really want to say. 50%. Not even 100%.
You're holding back.
I'm have to hold back. I'll get cancelled.
I could, if without Islam, the kind of mentalness that could just come out of my mouth is just
it's crazy.
It's just mad.
People would think that I'm insane.
Even when I'm arguing with somebody, people don't realize how controlled I'm being.
It's true. Everything had a crazy effect on me. Like everything that I went through had a crazy effect on me. I never really got into riba because it wasn't really my thing. But I was involved in other stuff. That makes sense. So them things would have an effect on me. But then with Islam, Islam's a balanced religion, and that's what I hate when someone says to me, I can't become Muslim because I'm involved in this or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. Because I think, do you think that Muslims are like perfect? Like, do you think Muslims don't like fall into sin? Do you think there's not a Muslim out there that's drinking alcohol or smoking weed or
absolutely, there's loads of them.
He's committing sin? Like, do you think there's Muslims not doing this stuff? Like, there's Muslims doing it, but the whole new thing is that they believe on Allah and Allah might forgive them or might punish them. You know what I'm saying? They repent, so
they turn back to Allah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think people. I think people have this misconception that you become a Muslim because people really respect Islam. You know, I didn't realize it until I started seeing my family members and they started like talking weird to me. And the other family, like distant family members, they would say things to me, and I'd be like, "Really? Is that what you think of me? Not really. I'm not really that bad." You know what I'm saying? So I started to realize that a lot of people respect Islam a lot. You'll be so surprised how much people respect Islam, like properly. So they have a high expectation of Muslims. That's what I've realized. So that's why they'll expect you to be a certain way because they respect the religion so much. I didn't realize that until...
that's a lot of pressure though sometimes.
100% it is.
Like I saw an interview with that rapper, Ardads, right? And he was saying that he didn't used to pray because he thought that it was hypocritical because of the sins he was committing. And like that's bad, because a lot of Muslims have that mentality. A lot of maybe not practicing Muslims, and that's not good, man. Because that's your salvation. If okay, you might drink like some Hennessy or like go do zina, but like if you repent, if you go back and pray afterwards, that could save you from hellfire.
Of course it can. Of course it can. And you'd be so surprised that mindset that you have is the winner mindset. You will always win with that mindset. Once you have that mindset, you will always win. Because I even heard Muslim Bilal. Imagine I was listening to Muslim Bilal. He said that in something he was talking about. He's like, I don't care what sin I do. I don't care. I'm the worst Muslim. I always make sure that I pray. And I was thinking, right, that's deep, because sometimes when you're doing a lot of sins, you start to think, I'm a hypocrite. Why am I even praying? That's the shaitan whispering to you. Trust me. He does not want you to win. He doesn't. He wants you to come with him to the hellfire, because he knows you abandon this, you're coming with me. So he knows that. So he's trying to do that to you. But the key to everything is to remember that the prayer is the balance to man's heart and the sweetness to man's face.
That's the most important thing. Yeah. 5 times a day. That's
the sweetest thing that you can have. Everything else is kind of secondary when you really think about it. But the prayer,
that keeps you sane, man.
That's it. That's it.
It's like anything, like with Buddhists and meditating or whatever. It's like to have that connection with something else is the most important thing.
Especially like as a Muslim, I wake up in the morning to pray. So I wake up to pray Fajr. So I could have had the worst night ever. Trust me, I had the worst night. Yeah. Crying all night, depressed, family member dead, everyone against me. That's in the night, yeah? A few hours later, I'm waking up and I'm praying. It's like I'm conditioning myself to be a better person.
And as you develop, you get better and better.
That's it.
That's what life's about, growth. Like I'm not going to lie to you, obviously I'm not going to go into it, but when I first converted, I was a terrible Muslim. But like with each year and each month and each day, each week, you just get better and better and better. And I think that's one of the main purposes of Islam, is self-improvement.
100%. 100%. And
until you're ready to reach the next stage.
Don't ever, I advise everyone, no matter how righteous you become, never become arrogant.
Oh yeah, true.
Arrogance is when you look down on the people and think that you're better than them. That's arrogance. When you start to think you're better, like, yeah, look at them man doing them sins, and look at that sister with no hijab, and look at that brother with his beard cut, and look at this person, look at that. You see, when you do that, I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time before Allah humbles you.
Of course.
Allah will humble you. I'm telling you from experience. I was that guy. That's why I'm giving you this. I was like looking down on everyone. Everyone's doing sins. Look at you lot, look at you lot. And Allah humbled me in the most humbling way. And I took
I've learned that lesson myself.
Yeah, I took one step back and I said, wow, look how Allah can deal with you, boy. Wow. So I made that dua, and I said, let me stop looking down on people and let me bring people up. Does that make sense? So if I see a Muslim doing a sin, I'm not even always even concerned with it all the time. I'm just concerned about myself. I see him committing sin, I'm like, yeah, I need to pray, or I need to make dua, or I need to, it's all about me now. It's not, my life's not focused on everyone else, like everyone else's sins. I'm cussing everyone, but then I'm not looking at myself.
Of course, you always got to look at yourself.
And then before you know it, you lose yourself. And then that's when Allah humiliates you.
I've had situations recently in the past where it's just like, in the moment, you're emotional. And you're like, this is terrible. It's all this other person's fault, or all this group's fault, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then as you reflect, especially when you make dua and continue to turn back to Allah in your prayers, you realise the mistakes you made as well. And we all make mistakes in every situation. Nobody's clean.
No one.
Any disagreement.
No.
Both sides did bad things.
Once you can understand your own sins, you can become a better person. The problem is with social media and everything. Like, I ask people sometimes, like, why would I be on like this page talking about this Muslim guy rapping? Yeah, why am I even on this page even looking at this stuff? Do you see what I'm saying? Some people that claim to be better than others and look down on others and cuss others, they're always looking at the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
So how can their eyes ever be clean? Then they say, they'll use a part of the religion, and this is one thing that people should be aware of. Don't use the religion as a tool of your weapon to destroy others. So Islam wasn't created as a religion to destroy people. It was a religion to guide people to the straight path and uplift and make people feel better. Islam is all about goodness, 100%. Goodness of the soul, not of the heart, of the soul, people's soul. You know what I'm saying? Everything's about the heart and keeping your heart upright and making it pious and removing envy and jealousy. That's why you got hadiths like of the Prophet ﷺ, none of you lot truly believe till you love for your brother what you love for yourself. So if I love something for me, I love it for you. I wouldn't want harm to happen to you the same way I don't want harm to happen to me.
Other people,
yeah, so if I see you come to me and you say, you know what, brother, I just got a job and I just got married. MashaAllah, brother, I'm so happy for you. Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's talk about that actually. I had a bad few weeks the last few weeks, but then my friend got married. And I was so just happy.
See?
Do you know what I mean? Because he deserves it. He's a good guy. He works hard. He's a pretty good Muslim. He's a nice guy, man. And I was so... I went to a wedding. They're Bengali. It was all the traditional stuff. It was amazing, bruv. I was so happy for him. He looked so happy. Obviously, he was quite overwhelmed because it's like a big thing getting married. But it's just like, alhamdulillah, you know what I mean? If you're not happy for your friends, then why are you friends?
That's it. That even made me smile thinking about what you said, because every single time a brother's told me that he's getting married, I think I'm even more happy for him than he is for himself. He tells me the news and I start going crazy. Oh my gosh, mashallah, Allah Akbar. Hey, what? I can't believe when
I get excited,
bro, I'm gonna buy your gift, don't worry. I'm gonna come to the wedding, I'm gonna buy your gift. I'm there from early, brother, and I'm there. Exactly how I said it. Everyone will be telling me, oh, you got this. I'll be like, I got a wedding to go to today. I'll even take time off work to say I'm going to this wedding. And it's only for like 3 hours, but I'll make sure I'm in my best uniform, get him his little always, because I just love when I hear good news. I love when people tell me good news.
Gotta be prepared.
Yeah, man.
I was so into it. I got proper dressed up. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this because my man's big day, innit? He deserves it.
See?
Exactly.
And that comes down to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. You probably even know that this hadith is just so profound. Like, none of you truly believe until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. See, I read some hadiths and they can never leave me. And that's what attracted me to Islam. Like, look at them good things that it's saying. Like, imagine lots of all the youngers and all the people actually thinking this. Like, you're in that gang, but you're Muslim and I'm a Muslim. I don't want to kill you because none of us truly believe until we love my brother what we love for ourselves. So come and squash this beef. Like, man, don't understand. Islam could just solve most of the society's issues just on the basis of what it actually says. Just the basis of what it says.
I've done that loads.
Like, it can solve so many issues in society in general. Like, just little issues that people have in society could just solve.
So many people I've just people I haven't spoken to for years, proper awful falling outs. And since I've become Muslim, once I get the courage just to text them or phone them and say, I'm sorry. It's beautiful. Even if we don't talk ever again, at least I made peace.
Yeah.
Because you can't leave stuff like that, because that will affect you in the hereafter or whatever. That's you can't leave stuff like that.
Never.
I'm
just happy that like I said, man, that I've met some incredible people on my journey, man, that I've seen younger people grow up in religion. It's crazy, man. I've seen so much, man. Islam's been the biggest blessing that I've ever attained in my whole life. You know, I've attained a lot of things like money, wealth, lots of things that I've wanted in life, but the biggest attainment of things is Islam for me personally, because like I said, it tamed that savage that was inside of me. That little savage that wanted to do all bad stuff. It tamed it. It made that little savage humble. And then after years, Allah always humbles me. Every 2 years, 3 years, I might be slipping. Allah will say, yeah, okay.
Wake up.
I'm going to give you a wake up. And it will seem like my life's going really bad. Like, everything will be coming down on me. My missus want to leave me. Like, my money, I lose my job. Family members that just acted funny with me. Everything's just I've lost my phone, my bank, I've lost my everything. Everything's just getting bad for me. What you would think.
You have a dark time and
then out of nowhere,
it gets better again.
Allah just says, all right, go this way, please. I go back to the mosque. I was telling everyone about this the other day. When I'm at my lowest point, sometimes I just go to the mosque and I stay there for the whole day. But because of lockdown, it kind of took that away. Does that make sense? Because you couldn't go to the mosque. But I'd have a time when I'm going through like my little problems, and I go to the mosque, I'll pray, and I'll stay there all day. And then when I leave, this is gonna sound crazy when I say this to people. When I walk out, it's like every single problem is solved. I'm not gonna lie to you. I make a phone call, everyone's happy. I made this, my money's there. Oh, I got 600 pounds. This person's like, I owe you money. This person, I want to buy this. I want to buy that. I'm like, how? I'm like, I'm so overwhelmed that I can't even tell another individual that, do you know, I just came from the mosque and I prayed the whole day and didn't leave, and all my problems are solved. Because normal human being would be like, oh, maybe you just like,
I need to do that at some point. Just go to the mosque for the whole day.
The whole day, bro. And it's like I'm sleeping there. You'll come in there and see me like, crashed out or like this here on the side. It's funny because I'll do that all day. As I walk out, brother, I'm not lying to you. The last 3 times I've done that, my life, I've walked out and my whole life's been right. And it's crazy because after that, I'm on like some proper humble wave. Like everyone I'm meeting, soft spoken with and nice with. Even strangers, I just meet a stranger and I start talking to them. And I think for me, that's what keeps me grounded, if I'm honest with you. That right there, going to the mosque and spending the whole day in the mosque. Yeah. Like,
especially when it's like a really aesthetic mosque. Like I could just go into
things not you're talking about Regent's Park
Mosque. I could just sit there for hours, bro.
Everyone can. That's just a beautiful mosque.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful place. It's got a little cafe downstairs. You might just go grab a little coffee, whatever, come back upstairs. I love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Little bookshop as well. You can go and look for some books.
So lovely. Not just some of the mosques as well especially outside of the UK are amazing. It's like a palace.
Yeah.
Built in the name of God. It's beautiful. Like.
When you go to Saudi, you're going to see that Saudi is...
Yeah. I'll probably go to Umrah first before I go Hajj.
Yeah, Umrah is probably... I've done Umrah just before lockdown. So, last year, January. Before lockdown, I done Umrah for the first time in my life. And I meant to go on Umrah lots of times and I kept not going. And I went and... Yeah. I can't lie to you, man. That's what I've been missing. All I did was worship Allah. That's all I done. I didn't do anything else. I couldn't tell you, well, I eat food, worship Allah. That was it. Yeah, man. Tell everyone what you do, man. What you're doing.
Well, basically, I'm Nick. I don't think I've even told people my name if this goes on any of your stuff. Basically, I do different things. I have a TikTok page. It's got, not amazing, but like 5,000 followers. Do some Islamic stuff, but also I joke around and like sometimes get into beef. I'm trying to stop doing that. And I do the podcast in my free time, try and interview interesting people. I have a day job in admin. It's a bit boring, but it pays the bills. Aspirations probably. Just really get close to Islam, obviously. That's my main priority. And then just like pursue more projects. I want to make more like film and media content and more podcast stuff, more interviews. And maybe if I can find a way of doing it in halal way, like some kind of vocalization type stuff, like Muslim Bilal does.
That spoken word?
Yeah.
That might be good, still. Good. I wanted to do halal movies once, man. But I wanted to do halal movies. Like I feel like there's not enough Muslim, like, say your kids are growing up now, yeah, in the modern age, yeah. What are they actually watching that's Islamic?
100%.
I don't see nothing. I see these crazy cartoons that just don't make no sense. I'm like, bro, this looks like from the Stone Age. We need to put more money into the media. You know what I'm saying? I watched something that was very profound and I proper liked it. It was the series of Imam Ahmed. It's like a series of this scholar of Islam, but it was amazing. And when I was watching it, it really, really blew me back, like how his mum was, how his life was. And I was thinking, this is like, you need stuff like this for people that want to watch something Islamic. Like, what is there to watch? Like, you want to watch something with you and your missus.
Yeah.
You're going to watch something that's got all kinds of stuff in it. Murder, drugs, sex. You have to, because what else is there?
You can't escape it.
because there's nothing
even
else.
kids stuff has weird stuff in it, man.
Very weird stuff lately.
Yeah,
Super
it's a shame.
stuff.
We're living in a sick world.
I'm telling you.
Anyway,
yeah, that was nice, man. It was nice you coming down
to talk, man.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you.
You too, man.
Do you want to plug any of your stuff before you go?
Rare Talks podcast on the YouTube. Type that in. It's actually Rare Talks, actually. Rare Talks on the YouTube. There's another Rare Talks, but Rare Talks on the YouTube. Yeah, just doing my thing on that. TikTok, Rare Talks again. Yeah, that's it really, man. My Instagram, Rare Talks podcast. Yeah, just follow up, man. I've got big things coming. We're in the Rare Hub right now, my little studio. Bam, bam.
Big up.
Yeah, big up. You know, if you wanna record a podcast or anything, rarehub.co.uk. You can schedule, and then you can also book what kind of packages suit your needs. We got cameras, we got lighting, we've got everything. Even got this now. This is like what's this? A gimbal or so, I don't know what to call this. A GoPro gimbal, I don't know, but it's in 4K. Yeah. That's all I do now. It's in 4K. So yeah, we got literally all the equipment you can think of in the world. Yeah, all the equipment in the world. So that's it, man. That's what we're doing right now. Just building.
Great. It's been nice to speak to you, man.
You too, man. Thanks, Nick, man.